What's up YouTube, Dedra here, bringing the video today. Before we get into this video, I just wanted to say that tomorrow we're going to be live streaming on twitch.tv/DeadDrawSYA. We're going to be doing a whole case opening, so 12 boxes. We're going to stream that live and whatnot, so come check that out. And yeah, anyway guys, let's go over the ban list. I did do my initial reactions for this ban list, but the thing is, I want to do my kind of review, talk about some of my predictions, because from what happened and what didn't happen, and let you guys know what I think of the list and certain hits and whatnot. So let's just go over this. And the first one is obviously the Fairy Tale Snow. And Fairy Tale Snow, honestly, was on my ban list. It was one of my wish lists. I wasn't sure if they were gonna ban it. I didn't think they would ban it, but they did. I'm very happy this card is degenerate and it's out of the game. I'm just super happy about that. So we know that one. Grinder Golem. I guess so. I guess they needed to ban it. It wasn't one of an inconsistency, but I guess it's just to get rid of those stacky plays. It just did so many with the dragon. I can't remember its name. Security Dragon, I believe it is. And then Gumbler. This was another one that was on the ban list prediction on most people's predictions, and most people just wanted this out of the game, which was really good. Get rid of hand looping. It's just stupid. Doesn't make any sense. So that's overall good. Galaxy Tomahawk, if you guys didn't know, this honestly really helped in danger plays, being able to make this with Nessie, same with like Mermails, anything that makes rank 7s can make this, and it's like a better scapegoat. So this card was actually insane, and it did need to go. It just created too many crazy boards. It makes sense. They addressed it before it was like a main problem, but it was doing things in the meta, wasn't not doing anything. And then Rongo, another ban, which is obviously good for the game. I think any card that says your opponent doesn't play really shouldn't be allowed. A lot of people may make the argument that, well, it's never been a problem for this long, or it's now, they shouldn't be banning it. They should be hitting the cards that got to it. I don't agree. Just because a card hasn't been a problem before doesn't mean it's not going to come into the future and be a problem. Think about Vanity's Emptiness. The card's banned now. There was a card that was at 3 that nobody played, and then we just discovered this card and everyone started playing it. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Then the last banned thing is Soul Charge. I think everybody was happy about this. Like, all these bans are really good. Konami actually did a really good job with the bans. I think they did really good. They hit things that they addressed actual problems. They definitely did make the format better. Maybe not the perfect list, but that definitely did good here. So I really like it overall. And then we'll get into this. Chaos Emperor Dragon Avoid the End was forbidden. This one's been on the ban list forever. So getting this one off is pretty crazy, but it makes sense. The errata kind of made it meh. It's not a terrible card, but it's not a crazy broken card. So I definitely think it's decent. A good thing to have back. For maybe like a 1 of. Maybe it could go to 3, but I'm not really sure. I haven't really paid too much attention to anything Chaos Emperor doing after the ban list. So, Cyberstein, this one's iffy. So this one's like mixed emotions, because like there's already an FTK that's out. People already showed an FTK with this card. Now, the thing is, like, yes, it's very vulnerable. It's hand trapped. It's, I don't know if I really agree with this card. I feel like, yeah, it's in the OCG, and you can make the argument for that it could be fine here, but like, I feel like it's just one of those things that's probably better off to leave banned, just leave off the list, something that's just, from a different era. Well, yeah, if this was gone, then yeah. But yeah, besides that, next thing, Greffer's honestly a really good hit here. Greffer is like, so another card that's just like Armonite, just way too good, way too much consistency. With links have just made so many cards so much more powerful. Just because like Malicious, being able to send Malicious off of this, making 3 link materials is just insane, right? Or 2 or 3 link materials. It's just absolutely insane. So being able to do stuff like that, it's just a good hit, smart hit. Get rid of the engine. Sure, this one's I'm unsure about. So I didn't really play during Necros format. I was taking a break during that time. It was a deck that I didn't enjoy playing against. Obviously, you get Djinn and you don't get to play one of those fun things. So I definitely wasn't playing at the time. So I'm kind of iffy about the whole Necros stuff coming back. We'll keep going down here. And then we got El Shaddai Construct Limited. Thank you. I've been wanting this forever. I'm really happy. I think this is good. I don't think it's really gonna do too much besides be playable engine and a splashable engine. It's still a powerful card. A Construct's still very very powerful, but I don't think it's going anywhere. But besides be playing like a splashable engine or even side deck, that's something they did in the OCG a lot, which they would side deck Shaddals. They would just, you know, put in your 3 fusions, put in like 2 Shaddal targets, and then, you know, whatever your other ones were, to make construct and just gain free advantage. So it makes sense. I'm really happy this card's back. I was expecting it. I was expecting it for the last like 4 lists. So yeah, Brilliant Fusion to 1. This is another card that was on my ban list prediction video, but I put it to 2 because I didn't think they were just gonna flat out hit it to 1. I was absolutely wrong, and I'm very happy they just hit it to 1. This card has been a card that I felt like it's just really unfair for the longest time, especially when it was just like about summoning, getting the extra normal summon off of Zephyr. I thought it was just absolutely busted. You know, ever since playing like back when my friend played it in Dolces, I knew how powerful this card was. And I felt like it was just too strong to be in the game then. So I definitely feel like this is warranted, and really this makes sense. And obviously we couldn't just hit Zephyr because Thunder Dragon started to abuse this with the Thunder Fusion monster. So Brilliant Fusion was the problem, not not Zephyr. Gold Sark to 1. So this is one of the indirect hits to Thunder Dragons, along with same with Brilliant Fusion. This makes sense. This is exactly what I called. I think this is exactly what most people called. The OCG did it. This makes sense. Mid-breaker field. Okay, guys, like, I was really hyped during this ban list reaction to this card. This card is a card that's just, like, stupid, and that really shouldn't be in the game. It's just not, it's one of those cards that your opponent really just stops get to interacting and not really get to play the game anymore, so yeah, that's just how it's kind of going. I just hate magical mid-breaker field. I'm so happy this is gone. So I definitely think this is a really good hit. And overall, this list was pretty good. Scapegoat. So they put this to 1. I don't know if it was necessary, but it makes sense since they banned Tomahawk. Putting Scapegoat to 1, I think it's just the kind of their way of balancing that out. I don't know if this was really a problem, but it definitely did steal some games. This is actually hurting Trickstars a bit too indirectly, but we already have a few cards that are going to make that deck more powerful. We'll talk about that. Slash Draw, they address the FDKs. This is self-explanatory. I shouldn't really have to talk about this too much, but the Slash Draw FDK, you would win turn 1 after doing like a 15-minute turn. Good thing this is banned, just because they just stopped it. I honestly thought Saryuja was gonna get limited over this. Like, I feel like this didn't really need to get not banned, but I feel like this didn't really need to get limited. But I felt like Saryuja was going to, and they didn't hit Saryuja. So I'm kind of iffy on the whole Saryuja not being touched on this. It's kind of interesting here, but it is what it is. And then nothing else went on the semi-limited list. Like, it almost, like, look at the look how small the semi-limited list is right now. It is 4 cards. There is only 4 cards in the game that are semi-limited. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to think about. Like, soon enough, we might not have anything, and they might just get rid of this. They may be just slowly working at getting rid of the semi-limited section on the ban list, and could be 1 or 0. I don't think that will happen, but let's talk about the things that are going to 3. Hornet to 3. This makes so much sense. This could have happened a long time ago, and it wouldn't have done too much. All the power to all the Insector players is cool. You get 3 Hornets. Congrats. Brownic to 3. I get it. The format's different. I'm not really sure. We're gonna have to see how this pans out with all the incantation stuff coming out. They're definitely making some strides towards ritual decks, and you know, I don't know if I really agree with that. Necros was a pretty a deck that wasn't really that fun to play against for me. A lot of people love the deck and love that format. Sure, like I get it, you like that, but I'm not a huge fan of it myself. Exiton Knight, this card's just not even that good anymore. Like, realistically, this card's like meh. It doesn't do too much. We have Thunder Dragons roaming around that have built-in protection effects. We have Sky Strikers where, yeah, you're gonna blow up their spells, but they're just gonna get their Ray back. It's just not that great of a card right now. Kaiju Slumber. Alright. They did this slowly to, I think, want to give hype to the new link, not the new link, the new kaiju secret rare from Savage Strike. They solely did that for this. I don't see that, like, there's this card going to be at 3. It's kind of stupid it's at 3, but it is what it is. I guess that's something. Another one I don't really like, Monarch Stormforth. This one's a little crazy. It's not as powerful as the kaijus because it doesn't tribute its cost. It is the card effect. So stuff like Eagle Booster and stuff like that will work to protect your monsters because they are being tributed as card effect. But this is iffy. This is True Draco, some indirect True Draco support. So I really like that. I don't like it, and I do. I like how they're gonna support a deck that's not doing that much in the meta right now, and give it a little bit, maybe a little bit stronger. But at the same time, I've had so many bad memories with this card. I'm not really sure. And we're gonna keep getting the weird ones. Eradicator Epidemic Virus. All right. Okay, I guess so. Like, yeah, this is the indirect hits to Sky Strikers, because if you guys notice, Sky Strikers haven't. We're gonna go over that after. Sky Strikers were on this list, but this is the indirect hits to like Altergeist and Sky Striker. Being able to literally, as a Thunder Dragon player, you can main this. Would I recommend it? Maybe, maybe not. It's not a horrible main, to be honest with you. It just depends really how much you're gonna, depend on not breaking of the rest of the cards. But this card is absolutely insane. It's literally, it could just be an auto win against Sky Striker. It could be auto win against Altergeist. It's super free. Trap Trick is also a card right now, so you got to think about that. They have easy access to this card. It's actually insane. So this card is scary for the meta, to be honest with you. It's crazy. I can't believe this is actually at 3. Okay, Infinity Barrier. Well, I guess so. It doesn't really matter. I think this would not have been okay if Firewall was still in the game. This wouldn't have been okay, actually. Infernity's had a Firewall loop, and if we would have been able to get 3 Barrier with Firewall, the deck actually would have been really powerful, I think. So, definitely think that Barrier to 3 is okay. That Firewall's gone. That deck's not really going to do too much. Wind Up Magician, once again, is another thing that was on the semi-limited list that really just didn't need to be there. With this deck, this could come back and nothing is going to happen, so that makes sense. TG Hyper Librarian, this is fair. Synchro Summoning really isn't a huge part of the game right now. If they want to keep, kind of giving support to Synchros, this makes sense for it to come back to more than 2. And then Limited Rule to 3, okay, sure. The game's kind of getting away from these attack boosting cards or cards that only do one thing, so it kind of makes sense why these cards, it's just power creep in general. And now let's talk about Sky Strikers not being touched on this list, and I'm going to explain to you guys why I think this is, and same with Altergeist. We'll go over these two, but first off, we'll go Sky Strikers. So Sky Striker, first off, we have support coming out in Savage Strike, which is Keanu. You guys already know this. Savage Strike, the new Link monster, so they're obviously not going to want to hit it. Me and some of the members of SYA have actually talked about this. We said if the ban list comes out before Savage Strike, then it's going to definitely not be hitting Sky Striker or Altergeist, because they have cards coming out for these decks. So I definitely agreed with Josh there. That was who said that. And it makes sense that they didn't hit it, because first off, we have a pretty balanced format. We have 3 top decks, a triangle, Thunder Dragon, which was doing the most, which they did hit in indirectly, which was good for the game, so they did check that deck, and then they just slightly checked Sky Strikers and Altergeist with bringing a few cards that hurt these cards back, or these decks back. So why did they do this? Well, because I think we're obviously gonna get one more ban list before Nats. It's gonna be our last format. They're trying to, since these decks weren't doing anything crazy, the format was pretty diverse, and other decks were able to top. They figured, you know what? Why completely reset the format? Because there's not really any decks that are coming out that would completely just replace like Sky Striker. So like, regardless if they hit Sky Striker or not, it's still gonna be being played like one of the most top decks. Even if they hit Guys, like, the worst thing they could do is slightly hit these decks, otherwise they would just create a completely unbalanced format. So the only thing they can really do do is like put like engage to 2, widow anchor to 2, right? Or like multi-figure to 2. Well, what's that really gonna do? It's not really changing the format all too much. They're just kind of giving some love, I think, to these decks, letting them play out these formats. They realize that we've had these formats that just like have been not good. Always been something degenerate coming out and just ruining the game for us. So I definitely feel like they did this so that we can play in a format that's a little bit better, a little bit healthier. But they weren't really ready for a big game-changing ban list. I don't think this is game-changing. I think this is just game-fixing. I think there's a little bit difference between that. Anyway, guys, please comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Feel free to argue with some of my points if you guys agree or disagree. Anyway, guys, we'll see you later.